Hi, I'm Joe Roth. At New Jersey Sharing Network, we're committed to saving and enhancing people's lives through organ and tissue donation and informing people about our life-saving mission. That's why we're proud to support programming produced by the Caucus Educational Corporation and their partners in public television.
Funding for this edition of Caucus New Jersey has been provided by the New Jersey Education Association, Wells Fargo, New Jersey Resources, Horizon Blue Cross Blue Shield of New Jersey, Berkeley College, New Jersey Sharing Network, dedicated to saving lives through organ and tissue donation, and by MagnaCare. Promotional support provided by NJ.com, Small News, Big News, True Jersey, and by Commerce Magazine.
Welcome, I'm Steve Adubato. We are pleased to welcome back once again our good friend Michele Siekerka, President, New Jersey Business and Industry Association. We have Michele on a regular basis to talk about a whole range of interesting items. Michele, there are a whole bunch of things I want to talk to you about small business and how small business is dealing with the Affordable Care Act and some other issues. But as we do this program, you just had a major conference dealing with women leaders in business. Talk about it.
Yes, we hosted our inaugural Women Business Leaders Forum. The event exceeded our expectations. We were looking forward to having an opportunity to have some very dynamic women share stories, talk about building skills. The whole idea, the theme of this was gaining better visibility to the C-suite and to boardrooms, corporate boardrooms. We know that we have made headway over the years. Women have come more up in the ranks. However, there's a lot more room, Steve. So only about 14% of C-suite are females among Fortune 500. There's a lot of room for movement.
You know, I was watching our partners at NJTV News, and Mary Alice Williams and the team did a great report on this. And in the report, the Lieutenant Governor, Kim Guadagno, was speaking there. And one of the things she was talking about was, and obviously you're right there, she was talking about the fact that the difference between a lot of men and women in executive business leadership positions is that she said, how many women got their kids off to school today? How many women got their husbands off to school today? Right. And all these women are raising their hands. And then you went off and did your job as a leader, right? Absolutely. And you can relate?
Absolutely. There's a lot of balance. Absolutely. I mean, I was a working mother my entire career. I have 23-year-old twins. And, you know, talk about a balance every day.
It's progress? Significant?
No, there's absolutely. I see it from my days as a young lawyer to where I am today in my career, and I see the generations that are coming up behind us. I do have hope that there is more balance in the home in the next generation between responsibilities around parenting. That's what I observe. I hope it's real of what I observe.
Long way to go.
We still have a long way to go. Yeah. Absolutely.
Switch gears. Small business, big focus on small business.
Yes.
Dealing with the Affordable Care Act, otherwise known as the ACA. Talk about it.
Well, healthcare continues to be of concern to business. The cost of healthcare is concern. Businesses continue to provide very robust benefits for their members. So the thing I always like to share is in a survey that we did last year, we learned that 70% of businesses continue to provide healthcare coverage to their employees.
70%.
Over 70%, well over 70% to their employees, despite the fact that they're taking a hit to their bottom line to do it. So what that tells you is they're willing to take less profit into their company in order to provide good benefits. And why do they do that? Because that's what attracts a competitive workforce. They know what it takes to attract a competitive workforce, and good benefits do. But that's not sustainable, Steve. At some point, the cost just isn't sustainable.
As we do this program in the fall of 2015, there's a survey coming up. Describe it.
Our annual Business Outlook survey. It's hot on the street right now.
Right.
So people can probably still go on our website and take advantage of it. I believe we have over 1,000 responses so far.
What does it ask? What's it trying to find out?
We are trying to gauge how business is feeling about the economic climate in the state of New Jersey. We do it this time of the year because it helps to inform us in establishing our agenda for business issues.
For 16.
For 16, going into 16, yeah. So basically, we'll get the results back. We will release the results at our December 8 Public Policy Forum, where you will be joining us, facilitating our legislative panel.
To be clear, one of the things that we're doing, and I did it last year, it was great, is, I wasn't great, the panel was great. We had legislative leaders, we had the Speaker of the House, we had the President of the Senate, we had the Republican leaders in the Senate and the Assembly, and talked about a range of business issues, right?
Yes, yeah. I mean, the issues that are important to business. And so we talk about...
What do you think they'll talk about?
Taxes, mandates, infrastructure. I mean, these are creating jobs. You know, what we need to get them to talk about, what we invite them to talk about, is how do we create jobs in the state of New Jersey. That's what we need to do. So we need good policies to create jobs in New Jersey. And I will say, in a very bipartisan manner, over the last 6 years, we've seen tremendous opportunity for business in the state of New Jersey. But we're still at the bottom of all the rankings. So yet again, another area where we have a lot of room to move
It's interesting, Michelle. You see great opportunity.
Yes.
You're bullish,
yes,
clearly.
Absolutely.
But you're concerned about the migration out.
Yes.
We lose some, right?
We lose lots, Steve. We lose lots.
Because?
Because of the cost of doing business and living in the state of New Jersey. So some startling statistics.
Go ahead.
Okay, over the last decade, $15 billion net in taxable income lost out of the state of New Jersey.
Wait a minute, hold on, 15
Yes.
billion? How do we even get to that number?
Over the last decade, 10 years, $15 billion of income has left the state of New Jersey. So now think about, if we would have the ability to tax $15 billion over the last 10 years, and the percentage of that comes into the general fund so that the state could then put that money back out into the economy, maybe we wouldn't have some of the issues we have today. We have to do something about outward migration.
Okay, but why would you, interesting, why would you be so bullish and positive about the outlook if we've lost the 15 billion?
Because that's rearview mirror. So what are we doing to change that? All right, the incentive programs in the state of New Jersey are attracting business. Those incentive programs are significant.
You mean tax incentive programs? Tax
incentive programs to make New Jersey competitive to our sister states. You know, so people will talk about, oh, the state's giving away money.
Yeah, there are those who say, wait a minute, Prudential, we have a big operation in Newark, sure. NJTV is in Newark, so we're very excited about what's happening in Newark. Yeah. Look at Prudential, they have this big, tall building there where they move down the street. Is that big a deal? There are tax incentives involved, and tax incentives that are used to do that. You say?
I say, of course. It's a huge deal because it didn't leave the state of New Jersey, which is what they were talking about doing. Absolutely. You know, people say, J.P. Morgan Chase coming over to New York. Why are you giving the rich guys money?
Because over Jersey City.
Yeah, because they could have stayed in New York. Guess what? They're coming to New Jersey. And every time they come, they create jobs. But we're not giving money away. Those tax credits need to be earned. I want to emphasize that. Earned. So how do you earn it? You create jobs. There's a whole formula. So you get a grant today. EDA gives you a grant. You have
Economic Development Authority.
Economic Development Authority. And you have to perform. So you have a period of time within which to perform. And when you create the job, that's when you get the money back. Now, return on investment. So far, we've spent about $60 million has been earned. About $60 million. What do we get back for that? About $730 million in reinvestment in the state of New Jersey. 1,900 jobs. Okay? That's why I'm bullish on New Jersey, because we got good stuff going. We need time to see it play out.
Before I let you out of here, we're doing a series called Lessons in Leadership that people know from watching us, but you know because it's also in your magazine.
Yes.
I'm pleased to be in there, this Lessons in Leadership column that's there online as well as in print. So I have to ask you, number one lesson in leadership you've learned so far is?
Oh, have the skills. Education, know what you're talking about, always be prepared, confidence, empower others.
Wow, okay, I'm going to flip it on you. Biggest leadership challenge?
Oh, challenge, it's getting people into your sandbox. I'm all about collaboration. Not everybody is. And so one of my biggest challenges is getting them all to play nice in the sandbox.
Can't you just tell them this is what I want?
Doesn't work that way.
I noticed around here.
You know what, Steve? You got to create the environment that they want to come in the sandbox. I can demand them to jump in the sandbox. They're not going to perform.
Doesn't work that way.
They got to want to come in.
Compliance is not the bar. Getting them engaged and involved, right?
Giving them the right environment to want to be there is how you make it happen.
Michele Siekerka is the president of the New Jersey Business and Industry Association. Every time we have you, you learn something new. Thanks, Michele.
Thanks, Steve.
Stay right there. Stay with us. We'll be right back right after this.
To see more Caucus New Jersey with Steve Adubato programs, visit us online at steveadubato.org. If you would like to express an opinion, email us at info@caucusnj.org. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Steve Adubato PhD, and follow us on Twitter at Steve Adubato.
We are joined by Dr. Diego Coira, who is the chairman of the Department of Psychiatry and Behavioral Medicine at HackensackUMC. I was pleased to join the good doctor at a conference at Hackensack just recently. Get this full name, it's important. It's International Integrative Behavioral Health Symposium, Epigenetics, Neuroplasticity, and Integrative Medicine, the third revolution of psychiatry. Doctor, the third revolution, the first was?
Well, first we had Freud with his theory of psychoanalysis, the beginning of the last century. We consider that the first revolution in psychiatry. In the 1950s, with the discovery of Thorazine, the first antipsychotic, we moved from psychoanalysis to psychopharmacology. And we thought that all mental illness was just a chemical imbalance that was going to be fixed with pills. And both of these revolutions did not produce what we were expecting, which is an understanding of mental illness and a cure of mental illness. So now we believe that with the new fields of epigenetics.
What is epigenetics?
Epigenetics is the ability that the organism has to change the expression of the DNA by changing your lifestyle. So even if you're born with genes to develop certain diseases, diabetes, heart disease, depression, you may be able to stop the expression of those genes by changing your lifestyle.
Changing your lifestyle.
One example is the Mediterranean diet. It was a study done in Spain a couple of years ago, that showed that people that adhere to the Mediterranean diet,
Which includes what kind of food?
includes fruits, vegetables, fish, red wine, a little bit,
A little bit?
a lot of water, yes, and moving, dancing, and eating with your friends. It's a style of life, it's not only a diet. But what it shows is that these individuals that are less incidence of diabetes, heart disease, depression, and Alzheimer's.
And Alzheimer's, a direct correlation.
A direct correlation.
So, in the conference we had, Doctor, when I was talking to you in front of everyone, one of the things you said to me that I want to make sure we talk about this and talk to everyone on public television about is you feel that over-medication is going on.
Yes, there's a problem. We did a study ourselves at Hackensack, and Mitch Grady, my colleague, and I in 2002. The average patient, we studied 1,000 admissions to our inpatient unit. The average psychiatric patient was coming in on 4.5 medications.
In 2002?
Yes.
4.5 medications,
Yes.
Go ahead.
And there's no evidence that 4 medications were better than 1. So
But was the average patient getting 4.5?
we get into a system of just medicating symptoms. If someone can't sleep, you give them a sleeping pill. They're anxious, and you give them Xanax. They're depressed, you keep adding pills. And the problem that we get into is that most of the time when these patients come to see me, what I'm seeing is the side effects of these medications.
The side effects?
Right. So we were able to cut this down to our average patient goes on 1.8 medications. And we've been able to maintain that for 13 years with good success.
Do you get resistance?
I do.
From whom? Patients and colleagues?
I think colleagues have been trained in the last 20, 30 years to prescribe medications. It's hard to find psychiatrists that can listen and understand the individual anymore. So it's not their fault. I think they've been trained that way. And we as a society, we want the quick fix.
Give me the pill.
Give me the pill and symptoms are going to go away. We know that's not going to be the case. Now, through changing your life, like what I was mentioning before, and then the concept of neuroplasticity, we thought that about 23 years of age, your brain stopped growing.
And we thought at 23 years of age, that's it for the brain.
That's it for the brain, and from then it's down the hill. We are all going to develop Alzheimer's at some point if we live long enough. Now we know that the brain is very plastic. The brain can regenerate neurons if you stimulate the brain, and things like learning a new language, music, exercise, mindfulness can grow your brain. There's studies showing that if you do mindfulness.
Yeah, but Diego, you and I have had this conversation, and I've told you, without going into a lot of detail, there are people in my family that are dealing with, some Alzheimer's, dementia issues. So I say, Diego, so that's it. It's in the genes, and I guess I get tested, and I'll find out what are the odds, that my sisters and I, and you say, well, wait a minute, hold on. There are some things that we can do.
There's things you can do. And it has all to do with your lifestyle. And there's 3 basic brain health techniques that you can use. You have to exercise daily, be mindful, learn how to do mindfulness, meditation, because studies have shown that people that meditate 20, 30 minutes a day, their telomeres, which is the part of the DNA that has to do with aging, are elongated, so they live longer. Their brains are larger.
What about stress?
Stress is, in my opinion, the common cause of all chronic illness, including heart disease, diabetes, and depression.
Common. Why?
I think that stress starts a cascade of events in the brain and produces cytokines, which are toxic to the brain, that can cause these chronic illnesses. See, we see mental illness as separate and different from physical illness.
Is it?
And I see it differently. In my opinion, all are physical illnesses. Mental illness is an illness of the brain. I have sometimes in the emergency room, a physician tells me the patient is medically clear to go to psychiatry. So how could it be medically clear if the most important organ of his brain, the brain, is not functioning? So that's a problem that we have, the way we look at mental illness.
Interesting, on so many levels. The third revolution in psychiatry. Before I let you out of here, just a little while back, you were the honorary chair of the designer show house that Hackensack has. What's the designer show house? Why are you the honorary chair, and why does it matter?
Yes, well, it matters because this is
We're looking at visuals of it as you talk right now.
A fundraiser, and it's a
beautiful home.
The proceedings go to my department to develop our programs and our research. It's going to go on until November. It's going to go on every day. People can come in and visit, and they pay a fee to go in and see this beautiful home. And
all the proceeds go to the Department of?
Department of Psychiatry.
And you're the honorary chair?
Yes.
Good stuff. Diego, every time I've talked to you offline or on camera, I learn something new, and more importantly, our audience does. So I want to thank you for joining us.
I want to thank you for your support, Steve, and thank you for coming to our conference.
We'll keep talking. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Thank you.
To see more Caucus New Jersey with Steve Adubato programs, visit us online at steveadubato.org. If you would like to express an opinion, email us at info@caucusnj.org. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Steve Adubato PhD. And follow us on Twitter at Steve Adubato.
Deborah Legow Schatz is president of the National Council of Jewish Women, Essex County Section. Good to have you with us.
Thank you.
You know, our friends at the Healthcare Foundation of New Jersey told us about you and your organization, and the fact that you have something called the Back to School Store. What is it, and why is it so significant? You're helping a lot of people.
We do. It's an amazing, amazing event, and our friends at Healthcare Foundation are part of it, or have been part of it in the past. It is a program whereby we effectively create, build, and fill a pop-up department store every summer.
Where?
In West Orange. We hold it at B'nai Shalom. It's a local synagogue. And we bring in children, over 600 of them, in one single day.
Where are they from?
They're from all over the county. They come through social service agencies who we work directly with. They, in turn, identify the children who would qualify for the store. It's all kids going into grades K through 5, all underserved who really could use the goods that we're going to be able to give them. And they literally come in and shop at the store with a personal shopper. They walk through, they pick out all new clothes for school, a backpack, school supplies, personal care items, and they have a heck of a good time doing it.
So these kids, and by the way, Jackie, we're going to show some pictures. We're going to show some pictures as you're talking about it. These kids, first day of school, would otherwise have what if this, we're showing pictures as we speak, what would they have otherwise?
Well, you know what? In every case, it's different, but many, many of the children tell us they've never had new clothes. Some of them have never had a backpack to take to school.
Never a backpack?
No, some of them don't. And these kids all get, that's the first thing they pick up when they start their day. They pick out a backpack of their choosing, and we have hundreds of them in all different colors.
Where do they come from? Where does this stuff come from?
Well, we purchase or negotiate for purchase or get in-kind donations from sponsors, funders, grantors. We raise a tremendous amount of money to do this. And then we work with local retailers, local wholesalers, and some of our sponsors and funders offer us goods in kind.
Are people generous?
People are amazingly generous. Because they see what a difference it makes in the lives of children. When these personal shoppers work one-on-one with
Who are
the
the
kids,
personal shoppers? What's that
volunteers, just like you and me.
about? So they go in with these kids.
They take them one-on-one.
Well,
We
where are
have-
the parents?
The parents go into a family resource center where we have health screenings, social service information, all kinds of things for them. This is just the child and the adult.
So the parent is getting important information
Right.
for the child and the family
Right.
beyond this, and go back to the personal shopper and the kid. Go ahead.
Right. So the shopper and the child form a little bond for about 45 minutes, and they go into the store and they select the backpack and they go in, and it literally looks like a department store. There are racks and racks of clothing, and the child walks over and says, I like that one. And some of them have never had the opportunity to do this, but the real thing that got us was the first year a child said to us when they were picking out health care and personal care items,
Sure.
they picked out a toothbrush and they said, is this just for me? I've never had my own. And, you know, it just gets our hearts going, and we just want to do as much as we can because the parents are so appreciative, the social service agencies can't thank us enough, and the bottom line is the volunteers feel so great about doing it.
Where'd this come from?
Well, one of our sections, an NCJW section in St. Louis, was doing it. So about 8 years ago, I went out to St. Louis with 2 of my co-chair volunteers, and we saw their store and saw what they were doing and took copious notes and came back and found a site and adapted it for Essex County. And off we went. We had 250 kids that first year. Now we had, this past August, we had over 620 in one day.
What's it do for you?
Oh, it makes me, I do all the training of the personal shoppers that day. They all go through a little half-hour training before they get their children. And as I always start my trainings, it's the best day of the year. It is the most rewarding thing I do in my life. And I've been doing volunteer work for well over 20 years with NJBIA, with other organizations. It's just incredibly satisfying.
What happens? I mean, you've gone from a couple hundred kids to now 600 and...
20 plus.
What happens? I mean, obviously the need is great, the demand is great. What happens as the need and demand keeps getting greater? You can't grow.
Well, we can't outgrow our space right now,
Right.
but we can do things. We are talking about things like going out to agencies, to shelters, to other places, and delivering goods to them. We can only
Really?
take so many children
Sure.
through the store in a day. Right now, we haven't quite topped out on that. We shop for enough clothes for well over 800 children because we want everyone to have choice. So we store goods all year long, ready for next year.
What do you hear from, I'm sorry for interrupting, what do you
Go
hear
ahead.
from the parents?
Well, the parents are often standing there, thanking us, hugging us. They're so appreciative. And some of them return the next year, and some of them have more than one child coming through the store. And they make it very clear that we are serving a need, we're filling a gap in their lives, and they can't always do what they would like to do for their children. And this just gets everybody feeling so good as they head into the school year.
What does it do for the schools?
Well, we work with schools in a lot of ways. This obviously gives any school where these children attend a leg up because they come with some goods that they wouldn't have otherwise. We also have programs where we're working in schools. We have 4 schools. We run kids' emergency closets where in case they need some clothing at the last minute or the child has shown up on 10-degree, 20-degree days without a winter coat, we have closets in those schools for emergencies that teachers have access to, and they can fill in where those children clearly need.
You know, I've asked people this leadership question. CEOs, presidents of universities, educators, heads of nonprofits. But it's interesting, someone who is involved in volunteer work and doing the work you do, you may be one of the best people I could ever ask this. And so the question is this: what is the greatest lesson you learned about leadership?
Well, I would probably say it's twinned. Part of it would have to be that you need to be efficient with your time, and you have to delegate well.
Can't you? Someone says, just do it yourself. It's the only way you know it's going to get done.
I like to do things myself, but I have found out that it doesn't work that way. You can't do it. It's too big an organization. There's too many things that need to get done, and they will get done better if you can use different people to use their best skills to complement your best skills, because nobody has all the skills to do it all well. That's something I've
And how about
learned.
getting those great people?
Well, at NCJW, we're incredibly fortunate. We have 3,200 members in Essex County and probably several hundred who are incredibly active. I have a 63-person board, 15 of whom are past presidents. So they are there with all their expertise every day to help, and a staff of 13 who are amazing.
It's called the Back to School Store, and it is an incredible, incredible initiative in making a difference in the lives of so many. I want to thank you for joining us, Deborah. Keep doing what you're doing.
The preceding program has been a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation, celebrating over 25 years of broadcast excellence, and 13 for WNET, NJTV, and WHYY. Funding for this edition of Caucus New Jersey has been provided by the New Jersey Education Association, Wells Fargo, New Jersey Resources, Horizon Blue Cross Blue Shield of New Jersey, Berkeley College, New Jersey Sharing Network, and by MagnaCare. Transportation provided by Airbrook Limousine, serving the metropolitan New York, New Jersey area. Caucus New Jersey has been produced in partnership with TriStar Studios.
Seeing science in action makes students realize they can learn.
What is that organelle called? Elizabeth.
With the right tools, it's easy to motivate students.
Students need to know science to succeed in the global economy.
That's why NJBIA established the Center for Teaching and Learning.
To give teachers the training to make science come alive and to keep New Jersey schools among the best in the nation.
That's why we are so proud
to teach in New Jersey's public schools.